No one knows watches anymore.
It's about 2 minutes. Okay. Maybe right on. Yep, 2 minutes too.
Oh.
I was going to get up here and start talking to him. You didn't, so. Okay.
We're going to start real soon here. How are you two doing? Good. Good. Thank you. Craig, how are you? Good. Awesome. Craig and Martha. We got 2 Craigs in the room, right? That's right. There you go. How was that tough drive in here? 17 minutes. You're beating yesterday's time. Yeah, on a Saturday morning. They're sleeping in. We know. We know what they're doing. Nice. Yeah. Well, we wanted a northern hub and a southern hub. And so that was the thought. The middle. Yeah, so up north. I'm not going to let go of Minnesota because that's where my family is from. Okay. Well, there is that when we really expand, then we'll do the west and the east. So north and a south and a east and a west. Yeah. All in due time.
Maybe someday we'll end up in the middle of the country.
Which would be about St. Louis, I think. There you go. That's about in the middle. All righty. Is it 9? Exactly. Oh, yay. Hey, good morning. Hey, welcome back, everybody. How y'all doing? Good. Guess what? We're going to stand up. We're going to stand up. And you folks at home, too, you can stand up with us because we know working at the PCs is not good for the body. So I'm going to set this down. And you're just going to have to enjoy yourselves at home, but you do it with us. Right, guys? Because how many of you did any stretching this morning? Oh, yeah. Stretch one way, walk the other way. Does that feel good? It opens up your organs, what my Tai Chi guy told me. You want blood going into those organs, keeping them happy and healthy. Yeah, Robert's loving it. I can see Robert, he is loving it. Loving it. Do the knee squat. A little gentle. And some of you, not at all. Not at all. Not at all. And you can keep your arms out for balance. Some of you can run the tippy toes, we'll push yours out. We got youngsters on the live watching. All right, now put your hands down like you look at that weight. You lift it up. You keep your chest up. You keep your chest up. Yeah, tightening up your triceps. Bend down. Chin is up. Chin is up. Right. Is anybody here into this kind of stuff? Do weights at all?
Used to.
Okay, we'll do one more. Oh, should we all do planks together? Everyone laughs, you know what they are. Okay. Actually, Coach Kurt and I have been known to do push-ups at events. Except if you watch the picture, Kurt's got his hand on my back, pushing down, whereas I'm just going, come on. So, yeah, I caught the picture with him wanting to put a 20-pound on my back. Have any of you done planks with the weight on your back? Whoa. Total burn in the abs. All righty. Well, we are back for day 2 of the e-commerce funnel mastery workshop. And we are live streaming this first 30 minutes. All right. There's a quote that I really like, and that is that business owners are paid by the decisions they make. I see Martha nodding her head going, yeah, sounds about right to me. Right? Business owners are paid by the decisions they make. And this quote guides me like almost literally every day, because do you notice almost every moment of your day as you're going through your business, you have, oh, should I work on this right now or should I work on that right now? And we heard those kind of questions yesterday. Where do I put my time? Where do I put my focus? Because where you put your focus, you will be paid commensurately to the focus and the decisions that you make. All right, so what I wanted to do is yesterday, you got a lot of information, a full day. I think Craig said, whoa, my head is swimming today, right? Anybody felt that way? Okay. Now, in the learning process, I call that the inputting phase. So data is coming at you, and you're receiving that into your brain at whatever capacity, and you're all receiving it differently because you all have a different wired makeup in advance of knowledge hooks that it comes into, and some of those, you got a knowledge hook that kind of grabs that piece of data and goes, yeah, we'll file it right about there. And other pieces come at you and they go, and they fly off like an asteroid or something, right? And it's just gone, okay? So we have that inputting phase. Does that make sense? So data is coming at you at any time. You read a book, and anytime stuff is coming at you. The next part of the learning phase is one of the most critical, and it's called assimilation. Because you guys just got a bunch of data yesterday. Now you have to assimilate it. So one thing that really helps relative to coming to an event is preparedness. And what do I want to get out of it? Now you set up some mental hooks in advance, speaking to your brain. As I understand it, the reticular activating system, that's right about here, and Dr. Josie can correct me if I'm wrong. Right about there, Josie? Somewhere around there? Stem, right on there? Because all the data comes gushing through there. But when you've given the data, the marching orders from the ant brain to the elephant brain, or otherwise known as the executive brain, to the subconscious brain, your subconscious mind will cooperate with you. So you can program your brain to do a better job for you. Does that make any sense at all? So that you let it know, hey, yo, we're going to get this done. Here's what I want you to pay attention to. And then your brain will do that. So some people call that the secret. Have you guys heard of the book, The Secret? For me, it's just pure brain science. That's how I see it. It's not like some mysterious thing. It's waving through the air. It's just working in cooperation with your brain. All right, so with the assimilation, we just got a bunch of data yesterday. So here's how I'm going to have you do an exercise together as a group to assimilate that information, which is, I hope it was happening yesterday, and that is, what is the best takeaway from yesterday? All that information from morning all the way through Ask the Experts. What was the most practical or greatest breakthrough and an insight that you can share with the group that was meaningful, that, I was looking for that, or I didn't know, that nature. And this is really good that we own this as a group, because you're all processing the information differently, right? And it's not to say, well, Joe, he had this experience and Sally had that, and they have to be the same. Everyone is at a different place. So, and you know what? I see 3-4 people going like this. So I wonder, maybe we better turn down. Is anyone else feeling raving hot? Judith, even you? Because yesterday you were cold, weren't you? Oh, well then, this is serious. Because you're our most stable thermometer over there, All right, so you can feel comfortable to come up, and this is a good exercise, leadership exercise for yourself, to be able to speak to peers, because you're going to be growing businesses here, right? That's what we're doing. And you're going to be leading teams. Dr. Josie, 20 minutes a day. Yeah, there you go. So feel comfortable. Come on up and share anything, big takeaways that you got. Yes, come on up. If you could, up here would be great, because we want those live streamers to be able to hear and see you. All right. And you have owned a business for 32 years or thereabouts? Yeah. All right.
The most important thing that we learned is that thing that Curly said in City Slickers. The most important thing is one thing. Find out what that is. And everything else will take care of itself. And we've been doing too many things, and it's been helpful for us to help weed out some stuff and figure out what it is that we needed to do. And one of the things that helped us make that decision is talking about a VA and knowing that we would have to write down what it is that they would have to do. And we didn't know any one thing well enough to do that because we've been hitting all these other points. And so we said, well, okay, that helps. That's a big help making that decision. And so, we have one thing. We made our decision. We're going to perfect this so that we can write it down and somebody else can do it.
No, did this happen in a conversation after completing yesterday?
Yeah.
And the two of you talked?
Yeah.
You're going back and forth, and you came to that decision?
Yep.
Give him a hand.
Absolutely.
That's fantastic. That's a really significant breakthrough. Just hearing that and then knowing you can at this point write down some processes, right? You're doing some, but you haven't done it yet. Now you're inspired to do it. And I love that you used a word that you said, decision. Yeah. Action, taking motion forward. Not thinking about, but decision. Beautiful. Did you do that in your window washing business? Did you have processes?
Yeah, because I was doing too many things at
Oh,
one point.
so you had to do that.
I realized that, I had too many plates spinning, and I'm not good at that.
Yeah.
So,
That's a good metaphor. Too many plates spinning, and you're like, man, what is this, 10, 12? And some of them become not as necessary. So, like, I'll write down my tasks the night before, and I'll look, and it's like, oh, my Lord, there's 15 of them. And then it's all about prioritization. Which are the ones that are going to be most important, and that move my business forward. All right, who else? Come on up and share a thought. Feel comfortable? You look like you're itching to jump out of your chair. All righty. Yes, David in the house. I could see
Give me that
thing.
microphone. All right. We did the same thing that you guys did. She couldn't go to sleep last night, and we kept talking, and we came to these decisions just like you guys did. You can get bogged down with running around, chasing all what we call the rabbit trails. We think, okay, we're going to do this. Let's go. Oh, now we got to go do this. And I'm not faulting you guys, because you guys have to come up with additional content all the time to stay current and to stay cutting edge and ahead. But what we decided was we're going to stick to a module group, okay, be experts at that, go to the next one. We're going to be experts at that. There's going to be overlap. So you're going to be learning not only. You won't know that you're learning this, but you do learn some of this over here. So it's good because once you get through all of it and you have set up, maybe your book flipping, your Shop Your Way, your shopping store, your POD stuff, after you're the total expert on everything, you're going to say, that wasn't that hard. What was I thinking? But it is in the beginning because there's a lot of new concepts. So that was my thought.
That's awesome. Good deal. I sense a kind of a relief that's taken place. The four of you, what you described is like, and yet there was that angst part. The grappling is what I call it, and it's inescapable. You're going to be doing some grappling. Grappling from wrestling, the grapple on the ground, and frustration. And you got to grapple through it until you figure it out. That's a lot of business is you have to be okay with that. There's going to be parts where you're just tossing, turning, trying to figure it out, and talking it through with someone is like having that person to bounce it off of. That's why we have our peer group, so you can do that in peer masterminds, for example. So you're given that opportunity, because not everybody is coming in as a husband-wife team, which I note this whole table and part of this table. Oh, yeah, definitely. Anything else? Yes, Mr. Rich in the house. Notice that he's wearing his brand.
Well, I have to kind of toot Don's horn. He's behind a camera right now. But last night we were having a lot of fun with a couple of designs. And I think the interesting point is, there's some parts of the business that are just bookkeeping and getting listings and shipping and very mechanical. But then there's some parts of the business, and I think this is where the money is made, is in the creativity and the brainstorming. And so last night we were working on some of his designs, and I keep telling him he needs to get in the hot seat because But we've got some pretty neat stuff. Maybe I won't give it away because now everyone will be thinking about it. But it was really neat, and he was texting back and forth with his daughter and getting ideas and quotes, and he was there in Adobe moving stuff around and making designs and editing, and we were just having a ball. But I think that's an interesting comment in the business. Is sometimes it's the creative part, right? You're synthesizing, brainstorming, coming up with new ideas, and then there's other times where, because if you just do that and don't do anything else, nothing's going to happen. Then you have to execute, list it, post it, sell it, ship it, that sort of thing. And so that's kind of an interesting thing. So I'm getting real excited about all the stuff that's going on. And, of course, I've got some ideas that I'm working on. And even just this morning with Zach, we were kind of brainstorming about a couple of things. So then it's time to take it away and execute. And when you said the executive part of your brain, that's get it done. So.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you. Excellent. So it's that assimilation, which we're doing. I think Christy's coming up next year. After assimilation is execution. After execution is a really vital piece, and we have that 5 days a week inside e-commerce master's program, and that is check and adjust. And I do it constantly in my business. There were 3 of us masterminding up here. Last night it was me, Brian, and Sharon, and then I noticed Sharon and Christy were brainstorming, and then I noticed Donald and Rich and Justin. There was a little powwow in the back of the room. Those are so important when you come here. And I ordered a new technical piece. My son David gave me strong marching orders, so I ordered a new technical piece, and I'm like, that'll be perfect. I ordered on Tuesday to show up here, and then I'm going to have the really smart people help me. Donald, can you help me? Take advantage of the really smart people for stuff that you're not so good at. I'm not so good at that technical. Miss Christy.
Okay, so I've been at this now for what, 3 years? Yeah. And I have gone kind of the whole gamut. I've been where you are. Okay, so I've been where my head just kind of came off my body and spun around, and I'm like, I don't know which way to go. But I've moved through that, put my stores together, and so this... now I'm in the next phase, still growing the creative. I think you're always growing. You're always doing new things. But for me, the big takeaways were, again, meeting with Sharon and let's moving our business forward with the things that we learned yesterday and just the things that we've been doing. So just taking those little nuances in this training. It's like you get the big concepts. I've been coming to these for a while now, and so you get a lot of the big concepts. So now it's like the little nuances of the training. Which site can I go get those cool fonts? And, some of the different things that will really help with the creative. So for me, I'm at the point where I can take in that new little information. Whereas before I was at the part of taking in the big concepts. Yeah. So that's for me. Thanks.
That makes total sense. The macro and the micro. And when someone was asking yesterday, I think it was over here about, how do you tackle it? And when you're at the beginning, you're learning, you just come into a new concept, you are in a major amount of learning phase. When I first came online, I was learning how to do consultative selling through a program that I was with Coach Kurt. And I told my kids, I was homeschooling at the time, I said, well, I'm going to be going to school too, but it's going to be in the morning, I'm going to get up early, blah, blah, blah. And I knew that I was a student that had to go through a bit of learning before I actually implemented in that case, because it was this whole when you get on the phone thing. But then I got into execution and I had benchmarks, strong benchmarks, and I wouldn't end a day without having reached my benchmarks. So scanning. How much scanning do you need to do to reach nearly $250,000 worth of sale? A lot of scanning, right, Martha? And testing designs. Brian has a formula called the 25-3, 25 designs. You have a benchmark. You know what you need to go after in terms of execution because others have gone before you and figured out the numbers for what it took them. And as I always tell people, with increased proficiency, your numbers get better and better. At the beginning, a brand new beginner is not going to perform at a Martha level for scanning, right? It's just going to take time. But now you can walk into a store and it's just like old hat. Boom, diddy, boom. Oh, yeah, money making day. Here we go. You know, because you put in the hours, and that's what it takes. So that execution, what I love about that is you benchmark it. When you know what it's going to take to success, you figure out what that is and you benchmark it. Minimum acceptable performance. Anybody else? Any other input? Breakthroughs? Yes, come on up, Gwen. And where are we at time-wise, Justin? Oh, okay, perfect.
I think what has really struck me, and it came home yesterday, was we're not in this by ourselves. You know, sometimes we're at home and we're watching videos and we're getting excited about this and this and this and that, and we have our calls, you know, all through the week, and we're talking to each other, we're here with each other. But what I also realized last night is I need a team. I need a VA. I can't do it all by myself. And as much as I think, well, I could do it better, I could do it faster. No, I can't. Yeah, I don't have that kind of time. So thank you all for being patient with us to catch on to these things. But the guidance is there, the support is there, and now we just have to execute.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, awesome. You do feel like you have a team that's here to support you, right? You have all the staff, trainers, and coaches, but this is your team. And I've seen some people making really big connections while they're here, and the friendships that you can reach out and bounce ideas off of and get help, that you're not alone. That's so key. And I tell people, you're not going to make it on your own. There's too much to learn in it, and it keeps changing, and it's moving. And you got to be with a community, a team of people that are going to help you stay current. All right. Anything else? All right, come on up, Christina. Hello.
I told myself I'm going to do one bold thing every day, so this is my bold thing for today. Well, I came into the community through book flipping, and I've done RA as well, and now POD. And I've chosen to just focus on books because it's kind of like, you know, you got to choose one thing that you enjoy doing and then you want to be an expert at. So it's kind of like what Ann said. I could go into a bookstore. I don't need to really scan yet. I could just look and just pick out books, and I'm pretty good at doing that. So it takes time to get to that comfort level. But what I learned a lot, I guess this weekend, is I love the whole strategic view of how to build a business. And this is why I love about the EBS training. Kind of gives you that big picture perspective and then gives you the tactical to do. And you need to kind of understand how this big picture applies to you personally, because we're all different. Our life circumstances are different. So you have to see how that applies to you, and then look at the tactical stuff and how to implement that in your daily to-dos. And I can't speak enough of, you know, the CNA call in the beginning, that it's helped me so much, because I was getting on every call. If I have a question, I would write it down, I get on the call and just ask the question. And now I feel like I'm not taking advantage of it as much because I'm on the roll now, in a way. But my thing is, with e-commerce, it's a growing space. So that's why I'm here to learn POD. And I'm actually actively building a direct sales business, which is also, to me, is an asset-based business, which takes a tremendous amount of effort and time. And building the marketing funnel, it's really challenging. But I really enjoy Sandy's whole demonstration with Facebook Live yesterday. You know, she says 35% of the marketers are doing videos, right? 65% are planning to do it. I'm in that 65%. And I was telling Brenda this morning, I'm going to make that number 36. But it takes, here's the one quote that I remember is, you know, fear is the biggest thing that kills your dream. So the fear of not knowing what to do, fear of overwhelm, right? You have so much, it's like, or fear of your own success sometimes. And that's, to me, was my fear. And I need to kind of just step out of that comfort zone and say, let me just do it. I mean, I'll see how it turns out. And it's kind of like, sometimes you could plan a lot, but the big thing is to just take that first step. And then once you take that first step, and that's how it was for when I first learned book flipping with Brian. And I love his course because it's so methodical, and I'm a very systematic type of person. But again, it's that amount of investment in time in the beginning that you have to do. So it's the same with any business. And I just love being here, and I appreciate every one of you. I'm learning a lot and appreciate the whole EBS. Thank you.
Christina. Awesome. Did you catch what she said as she was coming up? I make sure that I do what? Oh, one bold thing per day. That's called a stretch. And if you are not experiencing stretches, we all have fear. There's no one in this room who doesn't have some kind of fear. That's when you stretch. You feel fear, you stretch. Everyone with me? Let's nod our heads together, because there are many fears lurking behind every corner to sabotage your path and the journey and the dream you want to accomplish. And you either let those dominate you or you control them. And so I remember when I was learning the consultative selling, and when there was fear, I thought, you know what, that's just a door I need to walk through, because on the other side is success. That's how I looked at it. It's like, fear, get out of my way, because I got bigger things I need to do and accomplish. So just take a back seat. And you habituate yourself into that success pattern of noting the fear, and you train yourself to respond to it differently than what you did previously. Does that make sense? It's a retraining of a trigger, if you will, and you set a new frame to that trigger. And you say, well, there's fear, but written around that is a doorway that says success. So I'm going to knock that door down. Now, there's a really nice quote, if you want to write it down. Be brave and mighty, or not, is it be bold? Be bold, yeah. Be bold and mighty forces will come to your aid. Be bold and mighty forces will come to your aid. It's by Basil King, Basil King, Basil King. And people can feel when you're bold. Did you feel that Christina had a measure of boldness? And I do this for a reason, by the way. Just come to the mic. There's a whole lot of reasons, but one is to help you stretch. It's to stretch you, because stretch you must. Stretch you must. Non-stretching does not equal growth. Stretching equals growth. Josie, did you have to stretch a bit in your years learning? Never once. She's already fearless. She's gone through a lot of, well, she was an ex-cop in Private Eye. I don't know if you guys knew that. She was chasing down robbers and tackling them down. She's a toughie. Oh, okay. Thank you. I don't know the terminology, and we want to get it right. Detective, okay? So, yeah, and she was starting to tell some stories about that. And you had to be bold, didn't you, in that line of work? So you're in the line of work of entrepreneurship. And it means sticking with the task at hand and getting all the resources and help you can. Be bold, and mighty forces will come to your aid, and they will. All right, are we just about at the bottom of the hour then? Okay. One more opportunity. Someone who's just itching to come up. One last shout out. All right, yeah, come on up. Look at the two of them. Why don't you both come up? There we go. You should have seen them. You two have been talking, I can tell. It just kind of like, come on, Darlene, come on. All right. Team Wallace, take it away.
I've been watching her for years with the company, and I always saw the what, but my thing was the why. Okay, why you do this, and so now I see the POD as a vehicle. Okay, because I have a why. You know, my whole heart is into ministry, and so it's just another vehicle for me. And so to have the what is important. And I could just say that you're right. Fear. You want to write this down. It's false evidence appearing real. You know, they're not. It's just smoke signal. And so when I was talking to Darlene, I was like, babe, now we have a vehicle, and it's the why that's the big thing for us. Yeah. You know, so.
Awesome. That makes perfect sense. Darlene?
I just want to say that it's been such a privilege to be here, and we thank the whole team, and Ann and Brian and Sharon and Josie, everyone. We've learned so much since we've been here, and we're so looking forward to growing our business even more and connecting and networking with all the new friends that we've met. So I just want to thank everyone for being here for us. We really appreciate it.
Awesome. Give them a big hand. Yes. Thank you. Thank you. All right. So we just wanted to share that with the live streamers, and maybe they have something they want to share too. They can write in the panel. But we are turning off the public live stream at this point, correct? Yeah, tell the people who have paid to go to YouTube. Okay. And those of you who have secured a ticket to the e-commerce funnel mastery workshop, for which there are 2 days. Tomorrow is roundtable. We don't live stream that. Now you need to go to the YouTube link that you were emailed. Right, Justin? Those are the instructions. So go check it out, and you can always post on the page if you can't find it. I've been watching, tracking, seeing what's going on there. So you guys ready to get to work and learn some more? We're going to do that inputting, but you know you're going to do some assimilation. So when you're talking to people, I got to put in one more plug, is I want to do those separate interviews that I talked about yesterday, like Robert graciously did. There was someone else, I'm drawing a blank. But Candina's going to be my helper bee, and I'm going to be out in the lobby, and then she's just going to go kind of, it'll look like this. Excuse me, but you would just really love to help Ann, wouldn't you? And so can you just come on out and help Ann? It'll look something like that, right, Candida? Yeah, okay. All righty, so I'm going to hand it over to Brian. There he is, yes. And I'm not sure who you have next, but I'll let you do the introduction if that's, or...